We have a massive episode of the Unofficial Commentators this week. Man, this week we tackle some NBA news. Klay Thompson versus James Harden, or as I call him, Klay Harden. We have the cousin Juan joining us to weigh in. We talk about the Knicks improving, Al Horford versus Dwight Howard, fantasy football playoffs, and more. Playoffs? That's right, I said playoffs. Guys, hold on to your ass and tune in to the Unofficial Commentators. And I try to drink a sangria margarita. God damn, that was a big ass fishbowl.
Another week, another episode, fellas. We are back. And when I say we are back, I am back. Unfortunately, I was not here last week. I had some technical difficulties in my third world country, but I'm happy to be back. Just to give you guys the quick weekly reminder, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel on YouTube, Unofficial Commentators. Remember
Yep.
to always favorite our podcast on Podomatic.com. Don't
That's
be
right.
don't be afraid to comment. It's about to get real controversial here today. We have a very special guest today. Cousin Juan is coming back. Last week we got a lot of positive reviews for his performance in my absence, and now we
His
get to do.
participation
That's
brought
right.
in a whole new crowd of listeners and viewers. And
Right.
before we go too far, Packy, I just wanna drop a bit of a bombshell. We're expanding. We want to expand our fan base. We want everyone to connect to us. So, officially, I have taken the name of Unofficial Commentators on Facebook. We are the at UC underscore podcast on Twitter. And we're also the Unofficial Commentators, not the, but just Unofficial Commentators on Instagram. So, we're covering some social media platforms. Follow us. Let's get a
Beautiful.
fan base going. Things we see there, we're going to go ahead and forward. Our shows are going to try to embed them or just put the links there so everyone can follow us.
And don't forget,
Right.
if you guys have any topics you want to talk about, anything specific, our email, unofficialcommentators@gmail.com. So,
Correcto.
now that we got our cousin Juan here as our special guest, we got him on video this week, not just a little image that I had to put in last week. But now
Right.
that all three of us are here, man, I guess we can go straight to fire, man. Tell me what we got for today, Jay.
All right. So the ongoing discussion since the basketball off season, after the inflammatory comments of one Charles Barkley that Klay Thompson was the best two guard in the NBA, the discussion has been every other day whether it's James Harden or is it Klay Thompson.
Hmm.
And as far as our chat goes, our close knit group of friends that always discuss these topics, we're pretty much divided. I mean, some people, are Team Klay, some people are Team Harden, and over on these two windows, I'm not really sure how we're going to end up looking on the video, but over on these two windows, I have two Team Hardens. I'm kind of in the I don't care, but I just feel like you guys should give more respect to Klay Harden. To Klay Thompson. My bad. Oh shit, I married them. By the way, I mentioned last week that I was gonna start talking about what's in my drink. I got this fishbowl that I got when I went to Cocoa Keys in Mount Laurel. I was in New Jersey, Atlantic City last week. I was celebrating Cousin Juan's birthday for him. Shout out to Cousin Juan. It was your birthday last week.
Happy birthday.
Yo.
My birthday this weekend, by the way. And
Nobody cares.
On Saturday.
I have some sangria margarita in this bitch. So if I don't make it through the end of this show, you guys already know why.
For a guy that drinks beer every show, I am truly disappointed seeing you drink a margarita sangria. You just dropped the manly level on this show by 20%.
Anyway, man, what is this inflammatory comments, all these topics, all these things you want to talk about that are so pressing about?
We have
Is it Klay Thompson or James Harden?
we have our special guest here who's also a basketball guru. Guy has been around the sport for a while. So, Cousin Juan, why don't you kick it off for us? I mean, we got you here for this. Tell me what you got, man.
I mean, I don't want to focus it. I mean, we have focused it on Harden and Klay before, but now since Harden has changed position, let's focus it on the fact of what I don't think Klay can do. And that was my argument basically for Harden. I don't feel like Klay feeds anyone but himself, and he gets help with that. On James Harden's point, or on someone like DeRozan, or even Jimmy Butler, they get their buckets, and they get other people buckets, and they also defend on the other side. Well, not James, but
Yeah. All right.
but like James Harden accounts for a lot of his team's points. Like I don't see Klay doing that. I don't see Klay going to a team and demanding that much attention where he draws attention to him, where he could get other people easy baskets. Like I always compared assists like Gary Payton assists to a Jason Kidd assist, or I always use Jason Kidd on the other side, or you want to give me like a D Rose assist to a Steve Nash or Jason Kidd assist. It's not the same kind of assist, like.
Explain yourself. How are they different? I don't understand this. An assist is an assist. An assist is you pass the ball to someone and they score. That's an assist. That's what goes under stat comp.
Right. That's how it counts. But like a Jason Kidd kind of assist or Steve Nash kind of assist, where they could basically breastfeed or basically spoon feed a player. They can actually make people better. They put you in positions to score where you just have to probably just put up the ball. Other people just happen to pass like an assist. You can get an assist on luck, right? You could just pass the ball to somebody, he throws it from half court, and it happens to go in.
Right. So one of those like San Antonio Spurs where they pass the ball 4 times before they take a shot, and that whoever passed it last gets the assist. Right.
So you see, that's why you usually don't see Tony Parker leading an assist. Even in his primes.
I know the discussion started out because Klay Thompson and James Harden were both shooting guards, and it kind of spiced up recently because of Klay Thompson's performance, 60 points in 29 minutes.
Right.
Yep.
But the truth is, even though James Harden is now a point guard, it's still, the comparison is still out there about who's a better basketball player. Like, who is better? Period. It's not just about who is a better shooting guard. It's about who is better.
If that's the conversation you want to have, then that's a different conversation than one we've been having. The conversation has been simply put: better shooting guard, is it James Harden or Klay Thompson?
It doesn't matter how you put it. The answer is going to be the same either way.
On that, yeah, I feel the same way. But on that, I still stick, better shooting guard James Harden. But he's not a shooting guard anymore, per se. He's playing point guard position. And, all right, let's use that point. You think Klay could play the point guard position and average... what's that?
11 assists.
29 points a game and 11.6 assists a game. He's 4th in the NBA in points, and he's 2nd in assists. And he's only 4th because
Who's he? What are we talking about
now? Harden. And he's only 4th in scoring because so much people are scoring so high, because he's at 29 points a game and he's 4th. I see a lot of other people probably declining to a little under that, and he's staying around that. So he's gonna average about that for the season. And assist wise, he's number 2 and only second to Beastbrook. You know what I'm saying? He's a beast. Yeah. Like Westbrook is a beast. So
yeah, I mean, and to give you my reason why I think Harden is better overall, it doesn't matter what position you play. It's the fact that James Harden has proven that he can carry a team. Houston is 14-7 right now, and it's pretty much the Houston Hardens, not the Houston Rockets. It's all James Harden. James Harden is literally the most and only important piece on that team right now, and he's doing it on his own. As a matter of fact, he lost a star, and I'm quoting a star on Dwight Howard, and his team is doing even better than last year. I know coaching changed.
We'll speak on that fact later when we speak on that team. But they're actually doing better for right now. They're 4th in the West. I think they will finish out midway. They'll probably drop a spot or 2, but I don't see them going higher than 4 or lower than 7.
And to keep it simple, you have James Harden will be and always, in the last couple of years, has been in the MVP conversation. Klay Thompson is not, and probably never even will win an MVP, as Harden probably will sometime in his career, and even possibly this year. You don't know. On top of that, James Harden is the number one scoring option, the number one star on his team. So he normally gets the best perimeter defender on the opposing team. He's the one that gets the double teams. And coaches game plan for James Harden. When coaches put
Right.
on game tape about the Houston Rockets, I don't have to be in the NBA to know this. I am 100% positive that the number one goal for any coach going up against Houston Rockets is let's put away James Harden. The old school basketball
Right.
mentality, have somebody else beat us. When you go to Golden State, I am sure that Klay Thompson is not even on most coaches' minds. It's about how are we going to shut down Steph Curry, and this year now is how are we going to shut down Steph Curry and Kevin Durant? How are we going to stop the pick and roll? Because at the end of the day, Klay Thompson is a product of that system that they're running in Golden State. Now, I do not want to hate on Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson to me is the second best shooter in the NBA after Steph Curry.
You're
Pure
not
shooter.
hating.
Yeah, he's a pure
You're
shooter.
talking facts.
Yeah, the guy has ice in his veins. I mean, I cannot take credit away from him. He
Right.
is a shooter. Probably one of the best we've ever seen in the NBA. I dare to say in history. I mean,
Right.
we don't normally see guys like this. But just because
Right.
you are a great shooter doesn't mean you are a better scorer than somebody else. Because scoring is scoring. You know, Harden gets to the free throw line. Harden gets to the rim. Harden creates for others. That's scoring. He creates offense for everybody.
Right.
Klay Thompson hasn't proven to do that yet. And honestly, I don't think he has the ability to do so. And, you know, the other part is Klay Thompson does not. When was the last time you saw Klay Thompson having to take a shot out on a double team? You don't see that. It's a pick and roll. They either trap Curry or they double team the roll or the pop. And Klay Thompson gets an open three or a easily contested three. And he's a specialist at that. Of course he's gonna hit it. That 60
But
point performance.
you can say that for any one of them that on that team. Any given night, any one of them could get hot, and they can continue to just move the ball the way they move the ball, but put a little more emphasis in finding this person, since he's hot, and they could go for a crazy night. That's any given night on that team that could happen.
Yeah.
Come on, like Durant, it could happen with Durant.
Yeah,
It can happen with Curry. It could even happen with Draymond. Draymond has had triple doubles with 30 points or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So you telling me, all right, since he's hot, instead of hustling and doing all the other things, he's just spotting up and letting the games come to him like Klay was doing, and running back doors and running from half court, cherry picking a lot of times. I was watching the game. They got a lot of fast break points. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've let you both speak, and let me preface this by saying, possibly if I were to start a team right now, with and my coach was already Mike D'Antoni, I would say that I would pick James Harden over Klay Thompson to start the team. Now that being said, everything that you're saying is based on the fact that you've already seen it. I cannot dispute fact. You've seen James Harden be the leader of a team. Now, I think that Klay Harden has all of the tools to be a leader on any team.
Of course,
whatever that team is.
does.
Klay Thompson. There's a lot of liquor in this shit, man. I'm telling you, I might not make it out this game. All right, so he has all the tools. So we said, all right, take him right now and give him a coach who's willing to center the offense around Klay Thompson. And then put him on that team. Let's call that team Orlando with the right coach. And he has an array of players in Orlando, like Vucevic, like Ibaka, who are talented rebounders. And they also clog the lane and they stop the rim. So they'll keep other teams from scoring and they'll rebound, kick it out to Klay Thompson in a situation where he's comfortable. He's going to lead that team in three-point shooting. He's going to lead that team in points scored. He's going to lead that team in God knows how many other things.
Yeah, and they will be the 12th, and they will be the 12th seed, 14th seed in the East.
This has always been my point. If you just drop him there in a team that's kind of stacked in a good, starting lineup, no true bench, and center it around Klay Thompson, add a consistent point guard here or there, but that's not there right now in an Orlando team. This is a team who can possibly contend in the East for that 8th position. I mean, a really good starting five.
You see, we had the same. We had the same.
Hold on, I'm not done.
Last year.
Now here's where I'm going. I've never said that this is going to be the most successful team. I'm not saying he's going to have a championship team. As a matter of fact, I can tell you right now, James Harden is not having a championship team in Houston. No matter how you flip it, cut it, or break it, that's not a championship team. James Harden on his own with a bunch of other role players that suit his style is not a championship team, even if they are the fourth best team in the West. Right? So you've seen Harden get the opportunity. You have not seen it in Klay. Now you see it and you say, "Well, I've already seen it, so this is what I believe." And I'm not going to compare that to the if, but I believe that given the situation, Klay Thompson could star in any team that you
See,
put him in.
that's the thing,
He's
though.
a star.
No,
I mean, this is a dude that he put up 60 this year. He's shown in the playoffs last year when he needed to show up, he showed up. You mentioned he had ice water in his veins. He scored the 37 points in a quarter.
right.
I mean, this
But
dude can go off at any time.
That's
He doesn't do it every day. I understand that. He doesn't have to.
he doesn't have.
I mean,
yeah.
currently the Golden State Warriors, they have the highest points scored individually for any individual game at any given point of the season. They have the top 3 highest points scored. So everybody is getting into the action. Now, a lot of people wanted to go and bash Klay Thompson starting the year. I had him in fantasy basketball last year, and I know that he's a notorious slow starter.
Mhm.
But all that being said, when he heats up, because he's kind of a streaky shooter, when he heats up, he can go for a whole bunch of points. And I don't like the way you guys talk about the fact that he can't get to the basket. He has a pretty decent crossover. He has good moves. He's fast enough.
Yeah,
And,
when you have to be
and
aware of so many other people on the
if
court.
you pass him the ball on the 3-point line and he's going to fake a 3-pointer and you jump at it, he's getting to the rim. What's going to happen there? Probably a layup. It's not going to be something spectacular, but he's getting to the rim. And now,
It's not
is that
that
going to
easy,
happen
man.
every
It's not
play?
that easy.
It doesn't need to happen every play because he can step back and still hit it from like 30 feet.
So
It's easy.
why doesn't Kyle Korver do it?
I
Kyle
mean,
Korver doesn't have the footwork or the dribble that Klay Thompson has.
like, that's what I want to get to.
He's a little better than him.
I don't
Yeah.
want to get into a hypothetical situation like you did, but all I'm
That's
saying,
what I'm saying. He says he doesn't want to compare the if, but he's
All I-
comparing the
all
if
I
to
know
a
is-
fact.
all I know is when you see Klay Thompson needs somebody to create for
Hold
him.
on, wait. Before you
What?
say anything, cousin, this is your conversation just about every day. You're comparing the talent. You're telling me that Klay Thompson doesn't have the talent. I mean, right now he doesn't have the opportunity, and that much I'll grant.
Listen,
But
I
you saying he
agreed
doesn't have
with
the
you.
talent?
I agreed with you, but I said that team would probably be the 12th seed in the East. You were talking about the 8th seed, and you said the same thing last year when I brought up that Curry is as good as the system. Also, he's talented. He's
Exactly.
talented.
He's talented.
He's talented. He's talented. How many times do I have to say it, Packy? Because they're not gonna understand me. They're still gonna call it hate and try to flip
But
it.
we're not. We hear
Listen.
that, and we're not saying you're calling him a bum. I'm saying that Steph Curry,
Nah, he's a 2 times
would-
MVP,
right?
right?
He's not a bum.
So-
He's a 2-time MVP, and not only that,
Right.
I think that any team that you put Steph Curry on, as currently constituted, even if that team is called the Philadelphia 76ers, he's good for adding about 10 to 12 wins just for the sake of him being on that team.
Oh,
So
if you add 10 wins to a 15-win team, it's not that much, or a 20-win team, it's not that
Okay,
much.
it makes him a 25-win team, but still, this is always been
What
my
I
point.
said. What
I'm
I
not
said.
saying-
They
all
would
right,
still
but
be the-
Okay, cool, that's fine.
All right,
But listen. You're taking him, Steph. Now we're not talking Klay anymore. You're taking Steph, and you're adding him to the absolute worst team. 10, 15 wins already, and he's going to add 10 more. That makes him a 20-win team. Correct. This does not make them a playoff team. This does not make them a contender. But he's making them a whole lot better than they were. Just think about it this way. If they were a 10-win team and he adds 10 wins, he made them 50% better than they were last year.
all right, guys. I mean, we're going pretty deep into the topic. We got so many other things to talk about. But just to close it out, I hate having to use stats to prove a point. But since this time it benefits me, I have to do it. Real quick, just to close it out. You got Klay Thompson is averaging this year 0.7 steals per game. James Harden is averaging 1.4. They both average about. Klay Thompson averages career-wise 0.9 steals per game. James Harden has 1.5. The reason why I bring this up is because they say James Harden is not a defensive player. Now, you might say, all right, well, the eye test, he doesn't pass the eye test. He's not that good. Well, this website here, basketballreference.com, has some advanced stats where you can kind of like measure defense based on stats. They have one called defensive wins shares. It's an estimate of the number of wins contributed by a player due to his defense. Last year, James Harden had 2.6. Klay Thompson had last year 2.6. This year, James Harden so far in the season is at 0.6. Obviously, that number will increase as the season goes on. Klay Thompson is at 0.5. Now, here's the interesting part. Just to close out the topic, I really wanted to give this out in the chat, in our personal chat, but I thought it'd be so much better if I put it in public. This beautiful website here, Basketball Reference, has a section called Similarity Scores. It has an explanation. I'm going to read it out just exactly so you guys can understand how it works. The similarity scores were derived using a method similar, no pun intended, to the one used by Doug Drennan over at ProFootballReference.com. It is important to note that this method does not attempt to find players who were similar in style of play. Rather, it attempts to find players whose careers were similar in terms of quality and shape. By shape, I mean things like how many years did he play? How good were his best years compared to his worst years? Did he have a few great years and then several mediocre years? Or did he have many good but not great years? Another important item to note is that players are only compared to other players who played a comparable position. In other words, guards are compared to guards and guards to forwards. Forwards are compared to forwards and forward centers. And centers are compared to centers and center forwards. This is not always perfect, but it works well enough, absent more precise positional designations. So now that I read the explanation, Jay, I know you're falling asleep, but I know Juan is interested in this because this is pretty interesting. So what they do is they list a list of players who you can compare career-wise to said player. Let's go with Klay Thompson. His similarities are, according to basketballreference.com, is Kerry Kittles, Baron Davis, Jason Terry, Otis Birdsong, Ray Williams, Glenn Combs, Darryl Carrier, World B. Free, Phil Chenier, and Latrell Sprewell. Now you want to know what are James Harden's comparisons in the similarity thing? This to me was a killer in the topic right off the bat. I know you're liking it already, right, Juan? So for James Harden, we got Dwayne Wade, Sidney Moncrief, John Stockton, Jerry West, Magic Johnson, Reggie Miller, Walt Frazier, Chris Paul, Clyde the Glide Drexler, and Steph Curry. So to me, that was like, what? That says it all right there. They used a whole bunch of stats that I can't even get into, and they're comparing players' careers, and that's what you got right there. Easy breezy. James Harden is a better basketball player, better career. Boom.
Okay, so
closing topics to move on to the next one, because
basically what I heard there was James Harden, given the role of the star of the team, is compared to other stars of the team because they have similar careers, while Klay Harden always being a number 2, and in this case number 3.
Klay Harden.
The hell did I say? You know what I'm talking about. Klay Harden.
No, I want you to get it right. I don't want you to say Klay Harden because, of course, if my son's DNA is in it, of course.
So Klay Harden, this is what I'm calling him now. So if Klay Harden,
you want to be like my guy so bad, man.
It's always been number 2, and in this case number 3, then you compare him to number 2s and number 3s.
Yeah.
Listen,
you got
after this, cousin, you got to shave your beard, man. You're shame to the beard gang, man.
Get the hell out of here.
All I'm going to say is, to move on to our next topic, James Harden will never be...
Hold on. Listen, here's what I said, okay? And I sound really passionate because I'm standing up for the guys that can't defend themselves. Shout out to Omar right here. And shout out to Daryl. He had a pretty strong stance on this. But I'm speaking for the guys who can't speak. Honestly, I don't care enough about the subject. My stance on this is they're not similar enough players. In that thing you just did, Packy, that thing you read about similarities, you can't compare Klay to Harden. They're not the same type of player. I agree with most of what you said about Jason Terry, all that stuff. Look for screens, shoots the threes, they can go to the rim. That's what I'm saying Klay Harden does. He just doesn't do it as often, because the opportunity is not there for him to do it as Harden does.
They're
He
both
doesn't
guards.
have the role. He doesn't have the attention of the defense like you mentioned earlier. He doesn't have the opportunity, but he has the talent. And overall, you're just two different players.
Doesn't matter.
That's it.
That's like saying you can't compare Shaq to Hakeem Olajuwon because they're different players. Man, they play the same position. Harden has 20 games playing point guard. Come on.
Mano, did you just not hear what you read?
Yes,
they're not comparing them. They're not comparing them based on position. They're comparing them based.
I said it. You didn't hear me.
Oh, you read it again. They're not comparing based on position. They're comparing based on similar careers.
Another important item to note is that players are only compared to other players who played a comparable position. In other words, guards are compared to guards and guard forwards. Forwards are compared to forwards and forward centers. Do I have to keep on going?
What the fuck did you say? If guards are compared to guards and forwards forwards are compared to forward centers, you're comparing everybody to everybody.
Listen, I'm done with this topic.
Just you're comparing everybody to
James
everybody.
Harden,
depending on the position they in, but with them, they happen to be in the same position.
And just for the people that are making the argument that Klay's a number 3, James Harden would never be a number 3 on any team. Period.
Except he was.
Done. When he was
Except
a kid.
He was a six man.
Yeah, he was, but he's not anymore.
We're comparing this James Harden.
We're comparing this James Harden, man. Come on.
Listen. All right. Let's excuse the fact that he wasn't a kid. Let's excuse the age factor. He wasn't ready mentally. Let's excuse.
That's what I'm saying. As a kid,
let's excuse all of that. Let's excuse all of that. Let's excuse all of that.
But
he had a bad summer. He had a bad summer, right? So Sefolosha started out the season because he had a bad summer league as a rookie. I followed this kid since college, so I followed even that summer league. Listen, because it turned into a scheme, just like the Manu scheme.
He played a contract.
Right. It turned into a scheme. It seemed to work out to start Sefolosha because they already got scores with Durant and Westbrook.
Cousin, with all due respect, you having one bad summer when you're a rookie is not a reason for you to stay on the
I just explained that it turned into a scheme.
Well, the scheme was better for the team to not have him on the court because what they wanted to do was
listen. Hold on, I have to.
They wanted to make up.
Is that
hold
the
on.
same point with Manu? Is that the same point with Manu?
It's a moot point. It's a moot point. That Harden is not the same Harden that we're talking about now. Why are we even discussing about OKC Harden? It's not relevant.
Because I'm trying to make a point that why
I get your point. Listen.
When Manu does it, when they do with Manu.
I get your point.
Why is it not the same point?
I'm not saying it's not the same.
Crawford?
Listen, I'm not saying it's not the same. There was a time where every coach was buying into the fact that it was important to have bench scoring. So there you go with Manu. This is why Iverson is not in the league. They offered him a contract at Memphis. They said, you have to come off the bench. You're going to be our bench scorer. He didn't want to do that. He said, fuck it, I'm a starter. I'm Allen Iverson. He's no longer in the league. This was the ongoing trend everywhere you went, and everyone was starting the defensive shooting guard. Now, with all that being said, if you are that good at offense, put a little more effort into your defense, and you would be in the starting lineup. They can find bench scoring somewhere else.
They sure found bench scoring somewhere else because they haven't been the same ever since he left. But anyways, moving on to our next topic because we're going to last the entire podcast talking about this. All right, we're still in the NBA, guys. We need to talk about the Knicks. The Knicks came with a pretty solid 4-game win streak. They've played Cleveland Cavaliers tonight, and they lost badly. But
they fell flat, man.
Everybody is on the hype train right now for the Knicks. They're jumping up the power ranking charts. They're 5th in the East. I mean, what do you think, Juan? What's up with the Knicks? Give me the realness about the Knicks.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Even though I'm a fan, and some people may say I'm biased, but I'm gonna be honest. Today was the game. Tonight was the game to kind of see what it was. Like, all right, we won a couple games, and we feeling good as fans. We're seeing the stats. We're seeing the rankings. We moving in the standings. We see Melo having good games, finishing out games. We still seeing that we letting teams climb back into games. You know, we're not playing no defense. Mm-hmm. But tonight was the night. The kind of the measuring stick. Even if we would have lost, but it was a dog fight or a real competitive fight, or a pushing back and forth match, and they take the lead, we take the lead, or like just show some kind of effort, man. But just tonight, it just showed. I don't know if D Rose being out would played a major part, but man, like we were just flat, man. Like I was watching. It's one of the first times that this season that I turned the channel.
It's funny that you say that. It's funny that you say they fell flat. I did not watch the game, to be honest. I couldn't watch the game, but I do have a stat. The Knicks are 0-4 this season, now 0-5 on playing back-to-back games. They played yesterday. They played today.
Van Gundy said that.
Yeah, so there's clearly an issue there with the Knicks' stamina. And when you look at the box score, I didn't see the game, right? So I'm just going by box score. Melo had 8 points. Porzingis had 12. What worries me the most is Melo had 9 field goal attempts.
Well, he was in foul trouble. He didn't play the second quarter.
Porzingis had 15 field goal attempts. Now, here's my thing about the Knicks, about what I've seen. They've had 4 straight. First of all, competition wasn't that good. Second of all, I still don't agree with this style of play that the Knicks are having, which is pretty much Rose and Melo ISO. Most of the times, these games that are going into the last minute where Melo is deciding them are games that could have been decided a lot earlier if the Knicks keep getting Porzingis involved. I remember about a week ago or 2 weeks ago, that Knicks Hornets game that went into overtime, that Melo hit the game winner. Well, Porzingis was wide open, man. Melo hit a shot over 2 guys. If they
in his defense, for that second that Porzingis came across, his head was down. Then he looked up. So, I'm saying his head was down for that split second.
I mean, Porzingis was on Kemba Walker. I mean, that's a matchup you want. You know what I mean? And this is the same thing I've been seeing every game. It's Melo and Rose forcing their own shots. I don't like it. I do not see real team basketball yet in the Knicks. They're winning because they do have talented players, but it's not going to play out in the future. And today was proof when you play a real team, you're gonna get beat.
Right. No energy, flat. Then
are you looking for me to say anything here? So there's 30 teams in the NBA. They're 15th overall in points per game, 15th overall assists per game. So I guess they are moving the ball better than the median. 5th in rebounds. That's important. But I think that whenever they play, the second time they play Cleveland has a tendency to out-rebound the Knicks. They're currently ranked number 6. They have a much better record at home than on the road. And the problem is they have no defensive identity. Yeah. They don't have a defensive stopper. They don't have a defensive team concept. They will win because they outscore you. And when the ball is falling for everyone, then, you win. That's kind of how basketball works. Whoever scores more points wins. Yeah. But they're not stopping anyone. They'll score 115 points and then they'll allow 104.
Right.
Yeah, to prove your point, scoring 96 on the Cavs, especially when Melo was in foul trouble and only had 8 points, that's a great accomplishment. But not if you let him score 120 on you. So
that's 96 is like 20 more points than they scored in the season opener, no?
Right. They had 88 in the season opener, so that's about 8 more points.
Oh, so only 8 points. My bad.
But season openers are normally cold. But I guess we both. Do you guys think, just to close it off, you guys think the Knicks are going to be in the playoffs this year?
Go ahead.
I believe so. If we continue to win the games we're supposed to win. Obviously, like I said tonight, it was a measuring stick. It wasn't a necessary win. We didn't need to win tonight to prove anything. Just the effort would have been great. Just to show effort, push back, show that we can play with them. Mm-hmm. That would have been, decent enough. That the other wins that we're getting, it's not just lucky wins. We're actually better than those teams. We're just not championship material yet, or whatever, or they yet. Being that Cleveland just won the championship, they are championship caliber. I say we get on. I say we get on, but.
I'll be honest. I can see the Pacers, Pistons, and the Bulls all going over the Knicks. I don't think the Knicks make the playoffs this year. And honestly, I think the Knicks are an injury away from not even being that competitive.
Wow.
Unfortunately, yeah, I really do believe so. I mean,
Yeah, I
let's,
Jesus.
mean, yeah, it could get ugly. We'll get an injury. Yeah, it can.
yeah,
But man, let's just hope. Let's hope it don't. And if we
yeah.
continue to win the games that we're supposed to, like didn't we beat Charlotte? I think we beat Detroit. You know, those games, like we win those games, we should be all right. You know what I'm saying? It's just that by the time after All-Star break come around, when we play teams like like Cleveland or like OKC or
The
even
real dudes.
yeah, like bigger teams that we that we show up
Yeah,
and once we show up, then we kind of know that we should be ready to make some kind of playoff push
no doubt. All right. Well, I'm glad.
on a consistent basis. It can't be one game either. Like we show up
Yeah,
one game.
I'm
I
glad
don't
that.
like this mellow version of Cousin Juan. I want you to get angry.
I'm glad that after. No, I'm actually happy that after that Clay and Harden heated discussion, we actually dimmed it
That, he,
down
that,
a
he's,
little
that
bit.
he's still
But
that he's still in the conversation. Didn't just throw off the head
but
today.
now
I'm happy to.
I got another interesting topic that I want to talk about, and this one stings for me because I know I have something with this specific topic, and it's the Atlanta Horford issue. Atlanta came from 9, I think 10 wins, 10 losing streak. I'm sorry, not wins, 10-game losing streak, or 9 was it? And they won today, but I know the fact of the matter is Atlanta lost Teague and they lost Horford. Boston, on the other hand, after Horford came back, they're looking so much better. They're looking so much more complete. I mean, we had a very, very heated argument once, not us per se, but me and some friends on the chat, you know them, specifically Omar, about Dwight Howard and Horford. What Horford brings to the table that Dwight Howard cannot. I mean, what's your take on this one? Atlanta's not looking crisp at all right now.
Um, well,
Hold
on the
on,
defense.
while you think, let me tee you up. So
Oh,
2-8 in the last 10. Um, it looks like they're well, obviously they're much better at home, 7-4, than they are on the road, 4-8. But all that being said, they're currently 11-12, 11 wins, 12 losses. Uh, the biggest replacement you mentioned Teague and Horford. They basically replaced Horford with Dwight Howard, and then they have Schroeder stepping in for Teague. I never thought Teague was that great anyway, but whatever. What do you have to offer there, Juan?
Well, on that, the problem that I see with them is that all right, they lost DeMario Carroll, right?
Mm-hmm.
He brings defense, he brings scrappiness, he brings energy. You know, role player, good role player. He hasn't been healthy, for Toronto, but when he was in Atlanta, he happened to work out. Bazemore stepped up, but now they lost that coming off the bench. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they took losses. They made moves that kind of hurt them. Schroeder, I like Schroeder. I like that kid. He kind of reminds me of Rondo, his game, but he's a better shooter. And then with Horford and Dwight Howard is like Dwight Howard can, on the right system, a healthy Dwight Howard. The Dwight Howard we remember is the cleanup guy, the alley-oop guy, the dunk guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the guy you give the ball to and one-on-one he does something.
The rim
And
protector, he's still,
yeah,
as
rim
many years
protector,
as he has in the NBA, he hasn't gotten any better in terms of offensive moves.
right.
I guess you had a question here, Packy, and it was, does Atlanta miss Al Horford?
Yeah. Do they
No.
miss Horford? Oh, you
I,
really?
I think
I think they do.
I think
No.
they do for their system. Listen,
Yeah.
I think they do for the system because the system consists of ball movement, and he's not a threat on offense at all. So he
Who's
cannot
he?
spot up Dwight Howard.
Right.
He cannot spot up for a jump shot. He cannot ISO with
They
anyone.
lost the pick and pop.
They lost the pick and pop.
They lost the pick and pop.
Yeah, but towards the end of his Atlanta career, he was relying too much on the
Nah.
corner three-pointer.
No.
Al Horford, I don't think he's ever averaged 10 rebounds a game, and honestly, I think he was getting in the way of Millsap.
Well,
well, that's arguable because their game is similar. You know, the game is type similar, but it worked out better than this is working out because now, oh yeah, Millsap is out there by himself, but they don't have to pay Dwight much attention, and they lost.
I think they miss Jeff Teague more than they miss Al Horford.
I'll give you my take on this. I think Schroeder does pretty much the same thing that Jeff Teague does, but he's just a little bit more turnover prone. And there's no way you can tell me that Al Horford...
That's a big issue.
Don't tell me that...
Yeah, but at the same time, it's not only that, because you're losing the scrappiness from Carroll, right? Mm-hmm. Then you're using Bazemore to start, so you're losing that coming off the bench. That's big time. Then you're losing ball movement, so you're losing Korver's capability. His only ability is off the ball movement, and
I have an issue with
catch and shoot.
I have an issue with one of Jay's comments. He says Al Horford used to chew up on Paul Millsap's time. Well, that's not true. There's no way that Al Horford
not his time, not minutes on the court.
No, not
more
minutes.
Of his opportunities.
Of his opportunities. Well, there's no way that Horford needs the ball more than Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard wants the ball. Dwight Howard requires the ball and needs the ball to be efficient. Al Horford does not. And although I think the only thing that Dwight Howard does better than Al Horford, to be honest, is just the rebounds. Because Al Horford is, to me, just as good as a defensive player, and he has a better defensive player efficiency rating. And it's just...
But he's not a better per se, protector.
Mike Lombardi, although in football, has a term for players called trailer players. And I'm going to use that right now for basketball. To me, Dwight Howard is a trailer player. A trailer player is a player that you see the trailers, they look extremely awesome. But when you see the entire movie, it's not that good. You saw everything in the trailers. That's how I see Dwight Howard. That's exactly.
Mike Lombardi can go kick rocks. What the hell do I care about Mike Lombardi? This is the dumbest shit you've ever said.
I don't care. That's not dumb. It's not dumb.
They're different. They're different players. Al Horford did not want to play center.
You can't compare them either.
All he wanted to do was take jump shots. He didn't really want to mix it up.
This is where I love it. Well, you can't compare them either. You're telling me you can't compare Howard
and Horford. Basketball is a game of many things. Of those many things, one of those things are possessions and rebounds, whether they be offensive or defensive, are more possessions for that team. These are things that Dwight Howard is providing more than Al Horford. And I don't believe for a second that Dwight Howard needs the ball more than Al Horford. Hell no.
Cousin, but I don't think that was all on Horford. You know, it's a jump shot league. Who's not shooting? What coach is not making their 4 or 5 stretch out and shoot that corner 3 or whatever?
The way that I see it is Horford made Atlanta better. They were a second seed once with Horford, then they were a playoff team, and now he's making Boston better. Howard hasn't made any team better ever since he left the Magic. He's a virus.
Agreed.
Hey, listen, hold on, Packy. We don't have the Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, Miami anymore. A lot of teams have kind of fell off. If we're going by record this early in the season, I mean, Boston is number 3 overall. They're still not better than Toronto as far as records go. And they're basically still in front of the teams that were in front of before. They're in front of the Hornets. They're in front of Milwaukee. Washington has dropped off tremendously.
Remember
Miami is not even a playoff team.
Horford missed a huge chunk of the beginning of the season. Ever since he came back,
they about 9 games.
Yeah,
I don't want to.
9 games out of 21. That's a lot.
And they have 13 wins.
Yeah, after he came back, they've won 7 of those.
Okay.
My point. I don't want to emphasize Horford. I think it's a collective thing. I think the Atlanta Hawks are a success of San Antonio light system since that coach went over there, and some things were put in play, and it worked for them with the cast they had. They moved a couple pieces, lost a couple players, then signed a couple players, whatever the case may be, and now it's not working out the same. Not to emphasize just Dwight Howard and Horford. Maybe if they would have had Howard when they first, with the rest of the guys, with Korver hitting the threes he was hitting at that time, with Carroll healthy, whatever, with Baby coming off the bench. Then
listen, cousin,
then
right. Boston was a good team before Horford. They're a better team now because there's no way you can add a talent like Horford and be worse. But this early in the year, with the cast that they have, they lost a lot of key players. It's not just take out Horford, put in Dwight Howard.
Right.
The different
Right.
point guard. You mentioned Bazemore. You mentioned the fact that now you have what's his name? 3-point shooter. Damn, I forgot. Corver is getting attention now. Like he doesn't really.
And not only that, he's frozen because the ball's not moving like it was.
Yeah. So
All I know,
I'm not sure the point you're trying to make. Let's see how this year ends up.
This much.
I'm not willing to go out on the limb and say that at some point Atlanta's going to leapfrog Boston. I don't think so. What did Atlanta end up last year? Weren't they like the 8th seed anyway?
I'll tell you this much: regardless of what seed that they were in, Dwight Howard is pretty much a ticking time bomb, man. Dwight Howard has been literally dropping points per game every year since 2009. He went from 22 to 20 to 17, 18, 15, 13, and he's at 13.3. Everybody kept telling me, but Howard is a better scorer than Horford. Well, Horford is averaging more points per game. Howard is not making a difference in anything except rebounds right now. To me,
that's a big thing.
And what in important games will he play the fourth quarter?
Yeah, exactly. He can't even play the fourth quarter. To me, this guy, Howard, is literally an extremely much cheaper version than DeAndre Jordan. He's a little bit better version of JaVale McGee. He's a...
oh, man.
Yeah,
oh,
I'm sorry, man. Yeah, he's a better
the level
version.
of hate for Dwight Howard has gone through the roof.
I'm telling you straight up. I'm not afraid to say
but I do give you this, Pac. I think Dwight. I think DJ is better than him now.
Of course he is. I mean, you see a player on the rise, you see a player going down. There's a point where they meet in the middle, and then they just, they start
come on,
separating.
Man. I don't agree with this. Right now, you're comparing.
Forget about
you're
Howard
comparing.
from Orlando.
Listen. You're comparing box scores, and you say you're not going to do it, and then you do it. Okay, so you're comparing the fact that his points per game has dropped, but you're not taking into account he's playing a lot less games. He's playing games when he's injured. How much are you expected to do when your offensive game is limited?
So being injured is an excuse?
Yes.
What? No, it's not. You don't get paid less when you're injured.
If most of your points come off the fact that you rebound and put the ball back in the wall, in the rim, this is what you were doing back in Orlando when the system was put a bunch of shooters, including your freaking power forward, shooting 3-pointers. You rebounded and put it back in, and somehow you end up with 22 points. When that's the system you're playing, and it goes from, ball dominant shooting guard James Howard always attacking the rim, rarely missing, and then somehow you're supposed to get offensive rebounds when he doesn't miss because he attacks the rim, and you're doing that with a bad back and bad knees and missing 30 games a year.
Just a correction. I'm not stating box scores. I'm stating trends. He's going down. And Horford has also had injury problems. So don't bring me the injury bug as an excuse for Howard. Horford's had the same problems. And averages don't matter if you miss games.
Listen, I don't understand. I mean, I'm a pretty good dude at checking out trends. I don't feel like you're noticing the opportunity, right? If your guard is dominating the ball, taking it to the rim on most occasions, or rarely missing, he wasn't a part of the offense in Houston. He's there to rim protect. He's there to get offensive rebounds and put it back in the hole. Cousin, tell me, is any offense running through Dwight Howard?
I'm comparing him to Horford, not Anthony Davis.
Hold on, Pac. Give me a second. He made that happen because when he first got there, it was supposed to be the Harden and him show, right?
Yeah, it was.
Somehow he lost the locker room. You see, everybody else gets along with Harden. It wasn't Harden the problem. Who left?
And they're better now without him. The Lakers got better without him. Okay,
stop. Hold on. Wait.
So listen. Hold on. Let me get my.
I see where you're going. I'll let you finish.
Hold on.
Let him finish, Jay.
I gave you your time. I gave you time. So he had his opportunity, right? And I don't know what happened there. Personalities clashed. Whatever may happen. Okay, cool. Not only that. But what offense are you expecting? You really expecting to give Dwight Howard the ball 1-on-1 to post up again? What? So what opportunity do you want Dwight
What's the
Howard to
system?
get?
What's the system?
He is Tyson Chandler type of player.
Ooh.
Clean up.
There you go.
Protect the basket. Clean
Correct,
up. That's
correct.
your job.
Okay,
That's
now
been your job.
Why is Tyson Chandler never going to lead the league in any kind of scoring, or even be close to like a top 10?
Because he's
It's
not
because no offense runs through him. Listen, you took away the opportunity for him to score.
When was the offense
listen,
running
hold
through
on.
him ever?
Correct, but you had more people shooting and missing, giving him the chance to attack that basket. You had
Wait a
Jameer
minute.
Nelson.
Wait a minute. Houston firing it up. Houston is firing it up.
You're saying the same thing I'm saying. You're just saying different words, and you're giving me this weird look. Man,
But he wasn't rebounding like that in Houston, and they was firing it up more than anybody else in the league, right?
Right. He didn't play as many minutes. He didn't play as many games, and when he played injured.
So whose fault is that?
Is it his fault he got injured though? I mean, he's getting paid. There's a contract. He has to play. He needs to rest up. But no, we need you out there. Play. All right. Well, I can't jump as much as I used to. You know, every time I jump, I get a forearm in the back, and my back is injured. I'm not going to rebound the way I used to.
I'll tell you this much, Jay. Everything that you're saying is true. I'm not going to take anything away from that. But at the end of the day, we're comparing him to Al Horford, who is not a number one scorer in any team either. It's not like we're comparing him to Anthony Davis or anything like that.
I'm not comparing points, Packy.
I'm talking about. We have to compare the players. In this case specifically.
Forget about Al Horford for a moment, all right? We moved on from Atlanta. We're talking about Dwight Howard specifically.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
He is in Atlanta, by the way.
You're looking at the trend, right?
Dwight Howard brings you what Biyombo brings you.
I was gonna say that Biyombo.
Come
man,
on, oh come on, kid.
Okay, so what are you guys telling me? That Dwight Howard is done. That's it.
Yes,
of course he's done.
Washed up.
Yes,
he's done.
All right, whatever.
Yes.
Another topic that I don't care enough about to even engage in this conversation.
I know it probably hurts. You probably like him. It's like me. I couldn't.
I
couldn't give up on Amari. I couldn't give up on Amari.
Oh, Amari. That was a huge failure.
That shit hurt, man.
It's not even that it hurts. It's just the conversation.
It's over.
The conversation that I'm having with you guys is you don't take into account opportunity. You see points. The same thing we were talking about Klay Thompson. The opportunity for him to be the number one scorer has not been there ever. You see, he doesn't do it every day. He doesn't have to. The opportunity's not there. Sometimes
because he's not built for that. Dwight was never built.
What do you mean he's not built for it?
His game is not built to that.
He has the same. Listen, he has the size. He has two fucking legs, two goddamn arms. He can shoot the three. He can dribble the ball. How is he not built to score more points?
Hold on. Before we move on to Klay, let's stick to Dwight because we were on Dwight, right? We moved on from Klay, right? So let's stick to Dwight before we move on to that.
It's the same
Dwight,
thing. Listen,
all right, yes.
Whatever the player's name
Dwight.
is.
Let me explain it, Dwight.
I don't care about Dwight. Listen.
All right, listen, but I'm explaining it, Dwight. Dwight doesn't have the mechanism. He doesn't have a hook. He doesn't have the fucking boom.
It's simple, guys. It's basketball. It's simple as this. If you
doesn't matter.
Have it.
You know what?
Shut
up. No, I don't. I do not accept this.
By the way,
how do you not accept it? It doesn't matter what you accept, bro. It's reality.
We're not having the right conversation, guys. I'm talking about something
He
different.
doesn't have the move, so he's never going to have the opportunity. He doesn't have
all
the
I'm
move.
Saying. Wait.
Does not
for the love of Christ, I'm saying the same thing.
He
doesn't have the moves. I understand that.
So he will never be number one.
Team is putting anything to go through him.
Oh, that's a will.
I love it.
Okay, well that's fine. I'm not saying otherwise.
So what's your point?
My point is
he's going down. He's not getting younger.
But he's not going down because he all of a sudden forgot how to rebound and put the ball back in the rim. He doesn't jump up and doesn't reach the rim anymore.
Because he's getting older and he's missed his window. And he's
all right, never mind. Whatever the fuck you want to say is fine.
All right, hey, chill. All right, first of all, I gotta say this. This is basketball. This isn't football.
Don't say nothing.
The usage that you get in basketball is appropriate to your talent. I mean, if you're not getting used more, it's because
all I care about is the size of those checks, and my checks are heavyweight.
That's cool.
And I gotta say, I'm loving this podcast episode. Is awesome, by the way, right now.
We're talking basics, and he was debating trying to drill a hole in basic. We're talking 2 + 2. It's still equals 4 because that's what he said he was saying, right? But he's trying to drill the hole.
Yeah, let's all agree to disagree, as we've clearly disagreed in every single topic so far. So this is great. I love it. We got to have different point of views. This is what makes podcasting great. So I know Jay's a little bit upset.
Why?
I don't know, man. He is not happy. I think it's the sangria. I don't know what they put steroids on that sangria or something. He got a rage, some type of roid rage or something. I don't know what's wrong with Jay.
I understand his point. He's a man. He has 2 legs, he has 2 feet, but he does not have this.
All right,
skill.
all right, man. Cousin Juan, man, you've been great. You're free to stick around. We're gonna get into a little bit of UFC right now. We got UFC 206 coming up on Saturday. I don't think Jay. I don't think we should last more than a minute or two talking about this event, because to me, this event is the complete opposite of what UFC 205 was. I remember I hyped it up a bunch. UFC 205. Well, UFC 206. It's complete trash. I don't know, Jay, if you got anything to say on that. Cheer up a little bit, man. I'll agree with you on your next topic.
Yo, Pat,
Jay,
cousin.
Come on,
thanks for having me, yo. Y'all continue on, yo, man. Y'all have a great show. I'll catch the rest of this when y'all upload it. Thanks for having me again.
This might have to be like a 2-parter or something. I think we've done an hour on 3 basketball topics.
We pretty much have.
I'm getting off now. Say I can move on. So
take care, Juan. Thanks for your appearance on the show, man.
Take care, man. Happy to have you here.
It was great, man. Man, this show. Man, cousin Juan's a great guy, man. That was a great NBA part. I think that's one of the best arguments we've had so far regarding NBA topics. So, Jay. We got UFC, man. Let's move on to happy thoughts. Although UFC doesn't make me very happy, man. What do you got for me?
Nothing. This show sucks.
Come on, man.
I think you said it. I mean, it was based around the fact that Daniel Cormier was going to fight Rumble Johnson, and Cormier had to pull out. He had a groin injury. I think I mentioned, I don't know if you were on the podcast, if it was last week, his groin injury probably had to do with his nutsacks rolling all the way back into his stomach.
Of course I heard
and I don't blame him, man. I mean, fighting Anthony Johnson is a scary thought.
I saw a WhatsApp video of a guy pulling up his testicles up to his legs. It was kind of creepy. Please, nobody.
Yeah, that was Cormier.
Yeah, I could swear that was Cormier. Now they got Max Holloway and Anthony Pettis fighting for an interim title that it's not even... Everybody knows it's not a real title. I mean, what's up with this?
What is the point of having an interim title when you already named the champion and the champion is ready to defend? I mean, this might as well have just been like a number 1 contender fight. I
don't get it.
I don't understand that. I asked this question earlier. Like, okay, so Conor McGregor forfeits his belt, right? He has to give it up. He's stripped. He forfeits, however you want to call it. And Aldo, who was the interim champion at the time, Jose Aldo, he gets promoted to champion. He's full-fledged champion. So now you have a champion who's in the division. He's not injured and he can take any fight. What is the point of having an interim title? So now either Pettis or Holloway wins this fight, and then you have like a title unification thing. It's totally unnecessary, but I guess the point was, someone mentioned to me, you need to have some kind of interest in this pay-per-view, because it is a pay-per-view. It's 206, and with no title fights, like, this might as well have been a fight night or UFC on Fox or whatever the hell.
I'm surprised they didn't switch it to a fight night, because they've done it before. I mean, is it really worth having this on pay-per-view? I don't think many people are going to actually buy this. I mean, honestly, Donald Cerrone versus Matt Brown is going to be a better fight, and I'm pretty sure Donald Cerrone is going to kill Matt Brown. I mean, at least we know Matt Brown could take a punch, so I don't think he's going to go down very easily, but...
Matt Brown has a reputation for being a really rough dude. I don't see it. Most of the time when I see it, he's on the losing end.
Remember, this guy came back from death, right? This guy came back from death, so you got to respect that. So I don't know, man. I think Cerrone's going to dominate the entire match.
So taking a good punch makes you a good fighter? Like, I don't understand that part.
I never said that. I said he could take a punch. And I said Donald Cerrone's going to dominate this entire match. I don't think he's going to take him out right away because, like I said, Matt Brown could take a punch. But I expect Cerrone to just beat on him, man. Like, I don't want to say any derogatory comments. Let's just say he's gonna beat
Please
on him pretty
don't.
good. Yeah, yeah. Let's just say
All
he's gonna
right.
beat on him.
So an interesting fight to watch though is going to be Tim Kennedy against Kevin Gastelum. Kevin Gastelum can no longer make 170 pounds.
That's what I was.
So
That's what
they're
I was
going to
gonna
have
ask
him
you.
fight.
Is he gonna make weight this time?
He should. I mean, he's usually 10 pounds over the 170. So, I mean, I hope he didn't take it too laxed, but he should make 185 pounds. He's pretty small for 185 pounds. And Tim Kennedy feels disrespected. He's always talking all that shit. Honestly, I hate both of these fighters. I hope they somehow fight to a double knockout. If you guys haven't seen it, to those people that are watching, if you've never seen a double knockout, go on YouTube and just put in double knockout, MMA fighting or anything. Those are hilarious to watch.
Well, man, I mean, I don't think
if I'm ever in a bad mood, I just go to YouTube and write double knockout. You know what? After that inflamed conversation that I had, let me go and find me some double knockouts. They're always fun to watch.
I don't think there's much to say about this event besides what we already spoke. I think Tim Kennedy should handle Kevin Gastelum at a weight that he hasn't fought before. But I'm really intrigued to see what's gonna happen on Friday, because it would be hilarious if Gastelum cannot make the weight again, and Dana White's gonna go crazy. I mean, there's no way he can keep a pay-per-view if this guy doesn't make weight again. I don't know. I don't trust him.
Yeah, if he doesn't make weight, they should just cut him. Whatever.
Yeah. No doubt.
Kevin Gastelum's boring as hell.
All right, so I think we dedicated more time than we had to for this event, because it's gonna be horrible. they're gonna owe us an excuse for 207. They got to make it up with something big.
Isn't 207 Ronda Rousey?
They better. I don't care what it is. They got to make it up. They got to bring something different. I
think it's Rousey.
They got to do something. Yeah, we got Rousey versus Nunez. That'll be fine. But they got Dominic Cruz versus the Borinator. I don't like watching him. Doom versus Velasquez. All right, so it's gonna be a good event. 207. Johnny Hendricks is gonna fight on it again. Yeah, 207 should be a little better. We'll see. But we'll talk about that one when it's time to talk about that one. Jay, I know we had a couple of things to talk about, but I think we should just, given the fact that we're like an hour into this podcast, given the interesting conversation we had in NBA, I think we should go straight to the League of Haters Fantasy Football.
If you want to, I mean, we can always kind of break this up, but whatever.
Yeah, man, let's go.
League of Haters, man. Okay, so let's get right into it. Once again, I just want to mention we're on Facebook. There's no there's no content there yet, but Unofficial Commentators. I got the name before someone else could. We're also on Twitter at UC_podcast, and we're Unofficial Commentators, or rather at Unofficial Commentators on Instagram. The constant will start flowing as of today, but I made sure to get all the names before someone else could. Awesome. All right, in terms of the League of Haters, we have the high-scoring team was Victor's team, whatever he decides to call it any given week. Last week, he beat Ivan's team. He scored 153.8 points. The lowest-scoring team was the EMCC Brawlers, one of the teams that I didn't give him the kiss of death this week. I just thought he didn't have a really favorable matchup and he was going to lose. I needed him to lose, and he did. Only scored 70.3 points. Lowest score. No one who ever gets the lowest score wins, by the way. Blowout of the week was Packy. Remember week 2? This is actually Joel Zvaka's team. Just giving you a little reminder that even though he
still got a better record than you.
He ended with the second worst record of the league, that he did beat you in rivalry week. He outscored the EMCC Brawlers, Omar's team, by 46.3 fantasy points. The narrowest win, this is not a surprise. It went to Amari 2600. He beat Chef Rogers in command by 7.3 points. The Lucky Award also goes to Amari 2600. This is a position he's quite comfortable in. I think that the Lucky Award has been granted to Amari 2600 more than any other team. I think that we should rename the Lucky Award to the Donnie for next year.
Yeah.
Right? 9 other teams, 9 other teams would have beat him had he played any other of those 9 teams. Of the 14, he manages to play a team that he could actually outscore. The top fantasy performer this week.
Sorry to interrupt you. The Lucky Award
You're not sorry to interrupt.
The Lucky Award goes so far and we should definitely adopt the Donnie and G award name for next year. That not only did he get the most lucky awards, he actually has a bye week in the playoffs as a second seed. I can't believe it. We got to fix our scoring system. Something is definitely wrong here. I'm sorry, Donnie. You're my friend. You're my buddy. It was your birthday this week. Happy birthday. Everything's good, but man, fantasy-wise, I'm offended.
Another Sagittarius, Donnie, cousin Juan, myself. My birthday's on Saturday, December 10th. Who wants to party with fucking JJ? Who wants to sex Mutombo? You ever heard that story? A really funny one. All right, David Johnson was the top fantasy performer. 18 rushes for 84 yards and a rushing touchdown. 9 catches for 91 yards and a catching touchdowns. 33 fantasy points. I think, I could be wrong, but I think that David Johnson may go down as the offensive player of the year in fantasy. It was rare a week that he didn't get you double digits.
Yeah.
Okay.
His lowest scoring week was like 13 points. Yeah.
So, drum roll, please. In our head-to-head pick'em that started like, what was it, week 3 or week 4? I don't know. We were messed up at the beginning. Mm-hmm. The picks last week were set at JJ had 29 correct picks. Packy had 31 correct picks. Well, sir, we both picked 4 correct picks. So you still have an edge over my team by 2 picks. So at the end of the fantasy regular season, JJ has 33 correct picks. Packy has 35 correct picks. Well done, Mr. Packy. We will not see you in the playoffs. Playoffs?
Playoffs?
Will not see you in the playoffs.
I will not be in the playoffs.
But you will be getting a fantastic dinner at, what was the place called? Nessa something or other?
Tortanesa.
Tortanesa.
Yo, guys, look that place up on YouTube. That place is insane. We're going to be there in Queens.
It went down. It's listed as the biggest sandwich in Queens. So when Packy comes here, we're already in December, so a couple days from now, I guess. Gonna go out to Queens, have this sandwich.
Yeah. I'll be
we'll
there
record
in
most
days.
of it. Whatever parts of it are suitable for airing, we're gonna record them and we'll put them up on our channel.
By the way, Jay,
all right,
we're talking about that. UFC 207 is on December 30th. I'm gonna be in New York too, so we definitely got probably 1, 2, 3 burger shots.
1, 2, 3 burger shot beer.
Yep, boom. All right, go ahead, man. We got the clock running, man. We got to speed it up. This is too fun, man. I love it.
Man, you're gonna cut it up, man. There's no way you're gonna put this all on one podcast.
I will. Watch me.
We're doing recaps. Yes, that's what we're doing next. Recaps. Guys, I told you this stuff is powerful, man.
I can tell.
And I'm feeling all warm and tingly. I can barely keep my eyes open. Ah, man, cousin Juan was ready to fight me. Good lord. Okay. In week 13, this is going to be the last time that we talk about all of the teams because after this week, we kind of move on to playoffs. And if you didn't make it, you don't really matter. Now, speaking of teams that don't matter, Packy's are amongst them. But the first team we're going to go over is Amari 2600 that was going to play against Chef Rogers in command. I honestly thought that Chef Rogers in command was actually going to prevail in this one. I was incorrect. I actually picked them thinking that this would be kind of a slump week for Amari 2600, and I could get kind of an edge in the picks. And this is kind of the way it broke down for me. So Aaron Rodgers had 15 points. He has been pretty much on fire for most of the last couple of games, scoring in high double digits in the high 20s and 30s. But they played against Houston at Green Bay in the snow. Not a lot of passing. It resulted in 15 fantasy points. Mark Ingram, not a good game at all for their leader, Drew Brees. Resulted in single digits in terms of fantasy rushing yards and just anything else that Mark Ingram contributes. Wendell Smallwood, I have no idea why the hell you still went with Wendell Smallwood. Michael Thomas had an off game. T.Y. Hilton showed up against the Jets. Who doesn't? Vance McDonald. Damn, really? Was there no other option in tight end? Vance McDonald, it was the tight end in the game where Colin Kaepernick notoriously only completed, 5 passes, 13 yards, something of the sort. Something ridiculous like that. He got benched because he wasn't throwing the ball at all. They were just trying to run it. They're trying to stay away from the pass because it was cold and snowing and everything else.
Hmm.
So you add all those things. There's a couple of ones sprinkled in there. 1.9 from Mother Smallwood, 1.9 Vance McDonald, and this is how you end up losing.
Yeah, I mean, Amari 2600. The only reason, to be honest, when I looked over these teams to make the picks, I thought Jeff Rogers had a better chance of winning, but I went with Amari 2600 luck all year. And you want proof of how lucky they've been? Well, they won this game because Joe Flacco gave him 29.2 fantasy points. And check this out. Previous to this week, Joe Flacco's highest scoring output was 22.1 fantasy points. If you put 22.1 fantasy points on Joe Flacco this week,
You
Amari
lose.
2600 loses. It's amazing. It's amazing. So I just went with luck, man. I know Amari has been lucky all year, and it worked out for me, so I don't regret it, man.
And Matt Prater had da boot, das boot, as they say in somewhere or other. 18 fantasy points from your kicker. That's always a good kicker.
Yep.
All right. So the next matchup was the Auto Draft Queen. I was playing against the Real City Butterflies. Auto Draft Queen in honor of the fact that, well, we all know Ivan's team was auto drafted.
Yeah.
I needed the Real City Butterflies to lose here, and lose they did. Even though I picked them to win, I have no idea why. Was it the matchups?
I don't know, man. You're crazy. You gotta be
Not sure
crazy.
not sure what the hell I was thinking there. Maybe it was one of those kiss of death situations. I mean, he scored 127 points. By no stretch is that a low output game. Just about every player on that team had a double digit output, except for Doug Baldwin, in a game where Seattle scored 40 points total. Doug Baldwin only had 9 fantasy points. That's kind of a low output for a player that has been on fire as of late. Stafford, 23.8 fantasy points. Ezekiel Elliott, 17.5. Kind of quiet, but against Minnesota, that's kind of what I expected. Jay Ajayi, 11.7 fantasy points in a game that they lost. He didn't reach the end zone, so his outcome didn't look any different. Those are kind of the players that I'm going to focus on. He didn't have a bad week. 127 points would have won against a lot of other teams, but you played this week's highest scoring team.
Yeah, man. I mean, LO for Uncle's JJ's birthday, or the formerly known, what was it again?
Auto Draft Queen.
Auto Draft Queen. Well, these guys, they're stacked, man. After that trade they did with Omar to get Des Bryant, I don't care if Gronk is out for the season. This team is stacked all the way. This team looks like they are on an 8-team league. You got LaShawn McCoy, Jordan Howard, which, by the way, played in snow, which is awesome for running backs. Julio Jones and Des Bryant. This is too much. And you have Julian Edelman there as a flex. It's too much. There's no way I can root against this team. This team could be a favorite to win the whole league, actually, right now, the way that they're stacked up. So it was easy for me to pick them, and they won easily. Then they had the high scores. Not much else to say.
If you ask me, and call it bias if you like, Vontez Burfict is going to go down as the defensive player of the year in fantasy, for fantasy purposes. And it's interesting because we play in an IDP league. Not a lot of other people do. But a close second is Landon Collins. He's come on strong as of late, and I think since the game that he came on strong against Los Angeles, he hasn't had a single game in single digits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. And
Right.
Landon Collins is the top defensive player fantasy scorer so far.
Really?
Yeah, he is.
I mean, Burfict is a pretty strong one. I gotta look into that. Well, Burfict didn't play for like the first 4 games, I think.
Exactly.
He was suspended.
Exactly.
All right. Well, we'll check from week 4 on and see what the heck is what. Brady's Girly Man played against So Loyal. Guys, don't be fooled by the heated discussions and the eye rolls and the head shaking and all that other stuff. I love my cousin Juan. I said I wasn't going to pick against him. I'm really glad that he was able to join us here on the podcast for another second straight week. I picked So Loyal Action Boss to beat Brady's Girly Men. I've said that Brady's Girly Men, it's not even about the matchups anymore, just the players themselves. They seem to be ice cold. On the other hand, So Loyal Action Boss, congratulations, by the way. So Loyal Action Boss won the regular season. Best record, 10-3. relying mostly for the most part of the year on Derek Carr and also Melvin Gordon. This week was no different. Excellent performance by Terrence West. That pretty much sealed the deal. Everything after that was just kind of cake. Uh, Travis Kelsey, by the way, what is this? 18 fantasy points? That never hurts.
Yeah, I had Brady's girly man winning this one, and boy, has he been a disappointment in the last couple of weeks. 3 weeks losing in a row. I thought this team was stacked. Remember how hyped I was about him? They had Brady and Gurley and Jordy Nelson,
Ice cold.
but they've gone completely cold. I mean, Todd Gurley hasn't done much, and I don't think he will do much anymore. I mean, I can't believe the Rams gave Fisher an extension. That's a topic for next week's episode. We got to get into that one. But
Well, from what I hear, I'm sorry, I don't know if it's going to be relevant next week. From what I hear, he was extended at the beginning of the year, and he just kind of dropped that little bit of knowledge out there this week when everybody was kind of suspecting that hey, he possibly could be fired. No, 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 no. My job is secure. I've known this all year.
the Rams should cut him and give him his money. Who cares? But the point is, they've gone cold. Even Brady. Well, Brady had a tough matchup against the Rams, but he's just not getting anything from anybody. The only consistent producer the last couple of weeks has been Jordy Nelson and Tom Brady in a way, but after that, he's getting nothing from nobody else. So it's very unfortunate. 3 weeks in a row, he barely made the playoffs as a fifth seed. He made it at least, so we'll see if he can pick it back up.
Yeah, buddy. Not looking good right now for Brady's girly men. All right, Hide the Blunt. He changed his name this week. This is a team that's not going to make the playoffs, but he just wanted to give Packy a little reminder of what happened rivalry week. So now going by Packy, remember week 2, beat the EMCC Brawlers. This is how it needed to play out for my team, Pimpin' and Breezy, to make it to the playoffs. EMCC Brawlers simply didn't have it this week. He had less than 3 points combined if you add, well, a little bit over 3 points combined if you add both of his running backs. So part of the trade that Omar made, letting go of Rob Gronkowski and Des Bryant, was to get back a running back because he had an empty slot. He didn't want the 0. So instead, he gave up Des Bryant and Rob Gronkowski, and instead of that 0, he got a whopping 1.4 fantasy points. Damn, I'm seeing blurry as hell, Paggy. I don't know how I'm doing this. He picked up Damian Williams. I don't know, I guess. A Miami running back who was going to get some kind of play. He got 1.9 fantasy points. Devontae Adams had the quietest game that he's had in the last few weeks. Allen Robinson, kind of flopped back to Allen Robinson form over the last couple of weeks. And all of that resulted in 70.3 fantasy points. It was awful. Now, good to see DeAndre Hopkins finding the end zone. He's still ruined. They need to get rid of Brock Osweiler. I will never get tired of saying this. But at least he turned, crap into gold in this one.
Well, I'm still against that trade he did. Tim Hightower didn't do anything. Fleener is on his bench. DeAndre Hopkins gave him less points than Des Bryant. And I can't believe I picked him. I don't know what was wrong with me. It must have been because of that blackout we were having. And it's probably because Joel Vasquez at Packy Remember Week 2 is my rival. But the fact is, this team was a lot better. Carlos Hyde versus Chicago in the snow. 10 points is pretty good. Matt Ryan is a very good candidate for the MVP. And Michael Crabtree, he's always a week in, a week out. And he's been hot the last
This
couple
was his week.
Yeah, this was his week. I mean, it's been 2 weeks in a row. He's doing pretty good. And I got to say, he had a pretty decent touchdown that was dropped. So he would have had even more. And I really like that Tyreek Hill pickup. I only give him 9.7 points, but Tyreek Hill is a legit football player. I like that kid. I hate everything that has to do with Kansas City, but fantasy-wise, I got to be straightforward and say that Tyreek Hill is the real deal, man. We're going to see a lot of this kid going forward.
Honestly, if Omar would have won this week, it would have only put him at 6-7. 6-7 was not going to get into the playoffs. I wanted to say that it was a fair trade, but this is looking super suspicious. And now I have to face the team that he basically fire sold to. I don't like it. Something has to be done. A ruling will come down, and it will come down with intense fury. Pimpin' Ain't Breezy played against Thursday Stat Correction, and he won. This win actually put me into the playoffs. Thursday Stat Correction honestly had no chance. He did score over 100 points to kind of keep it interesting, but Jordan Howard was ruled out early in the week. I don't know why he still made your starting lineup. You could have picked up anybody and put him in there and tried to contend. Instead, Darryl decided to take a 0. I guess this is kind of his thing. He takes trash and recycles it.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly had you winning this one. I got a little bit scared with Drew Brees only giving you 6 points, but Dennis Pitta, man, what a beautiful surprise with 22 fantasy points. He dominated Miami. That was a great performance. So,
Dennis Pitta had not scored a touchdown since 2013. 2 touchdowns in this game.
Yeah, man, he actually had a really good game. So, and Vonta's perfect, dude. 28,
I don't know, man.
28.5 points. Like, what did he do, Jay? Can you recap? What did he do? 15 tackles. Oh my God.
And I think there was 2 pick sixes there.
This guy was all over the place. You've been hyping him all year. I know he's your favorite fantasy player because you say he's all over the place, but I know it's because he's helped you out in fantasy, man. That's the truth. But
I love him, man. I love Vontaze Burfict. I don't care if he plays dirty.
He's legit. He's legit.
I don't care any of that stuff.
No,
we don't talk about it as much, man. But I did play football with the Crows not that long ago, and I can never find myself playing dirty, man. But I admire the way that Vontaze Burfict plays. I don't care if people call him dirty or any of that shit. He has a motor. That dude is everywhere. He's all over the ball.
He's like Draymond Green.
The
Draymond Green of football. Yeah,
pretty much. And I like Draymond Green. So Vontaze Burfict, thank you very much, sir. You're partly the reason why I am in the fantasy playoffs.
All right.
Okay, FIBA played against Win is coming. Wow, FIBA is another team that really cooled off. I needed them to win. This is one that I kind of picked against simply for
former champ.
The kiss of death factor. I wanted him to not make it. He is a former champ, but I think he had the 14th pick overall. It was a valiant effort. He ends the season 6-7. On the Witness Coming is side of the football. So you had a 0, you had a 1 from your kicker, but and not only that, you decided to start Jared Goff. I mean, the cojones on you, my friend.
Yeah.
These reasons alone are enough for me to pick against you, and I did.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. I picked against myself, too. I had a checkmate at Jared Goff versus New England. I'm like, well, New England's defense hasn't been that great. And Blake Bortles versus Denver. I knew for a fact Blake Bortles wasn't going to do anything against Denver. He did give me 9 points, 3 more than Jared Goff, but I don't regret starting Jared Goff. But for that same reason, I actually went with FIBA myself, and I was wrong. I actually won. I did not expect so many points from Rashad Jennings, and I did not expect Jarvis Landry either to give me 15 points against Baltimore. That was also a nice surprise. And of course, David Johnson going for 33 doesn't hurt either. So.
And what's cooler than being cool? Brady's girly man, and then FIBA. So they got Cam Newton got walloped in Seattle. Frank Gore had a quiet game. They didn't really need him. It was all kind of a passing effort. 3 touchdowns from Dwayne Allen, by the way, who used to be part of your team. He didn't make it to your roster this week. Theo Riddick had a normal Theo Riddick game, and Larry Fitzgerald. These are kind of the standouts. Everyone else, single digits.
Yeah, man. All right, man, we got to rush through these guys. Come on, man, because we got to go over the playoffs. We're deep into this podcast episode.
Playoffs?
Playoffs? All right, man, give me the next one.
There's only one left to talk about in terms of recaps. It's the Malavian Falcon versus Beware the Dog. Neither of these teams made the playoffs. Malavian Falcon had a chance to get in there. He did beat me in the head-to-head, even though I think I would have probably beat him in terms of most points overall. Didn't matter this week. He lost to Beware the Dog. He simply eliminated all doubts that he could make the playoffs. Beware the Dog ends the season. Wait a minute. What happened here? So Malavian Falcon did finish 7-6?
Yeah.
I thought they were 6-7 as well. All right. Well, they finished 7-6, but I guess I outscored him overall. So that's why I'm in the playoffs and he's not.
No, he is in
Is
the
that
playoffs. He's at the number
he's in the
4
playoffs?
seed. He's in the playoffs.
What?
Playoffs? Yes, he is. He's over you, actually.
Holy crap! I thought there was
You
only
were
one spot.
you were the last seed in the playoffs, man.
Right, I get that, but I thought there was only one seat to fill. I didn't really realize that he was in the playoffs. Okay, so scratch everything I said. I am so absolutely wrong. Malavian Falcon is in the playoffs, and it didn't matter that he lost this week. So there's really nothing of consequence to say in this matchup.
Yeah, I had beware of the dog in this one, and mostly is because the Malavian Falcon had Tyrod Taylor going up against my Oakland Raiders. I logic said that he was supposed to, have a huge day against the Raiders defense, who has been kind of soft. But I'm a Raider fan, so I took that personal. I don't care. Also, I didn't expect much from Stephon Diggs against Dallas. I mean, Sam Bradford has been questionable in his play, not his injuries, and Dallas's defense has been better than a lot of people expected. So, I unfortunately Malavian Falcon, I was right on that. Taylor only gave him 11 points. Diggs gave him 9. He had a great week from Thomas Rawls. I mean, I did not expect that one coming. That one was good, but I also expected him to fail. I was wrong there, but he still didn't pick up enough points to get beware of the dog.
Big ol' zero for Marcus Wilson. Marcus Wilson.
Yeah, man.
Is that the-
If you guys listen, this is a tip for you guys that are in the playoffs. You need, from here on out, we're entering December in football. From here on out, just like you check your lineups, you got to check the weather report in the games. Marcus Wilson is the second receiver for the Bears, and he was playing in the frozen tundra of Chicago in the snow. It was horrible weather. It's impossible to pass. I don't care if he could have been anybody. It's hard for you to start a receiver in such weather conditions. So just a tip, guys. Take that into consideration in the future.
Yeah, beware the dog whooped his ass this week though. It was just consistency all up and down this roster. Double digits from all of his skill players except for James Starks. But that wasn't enough. And the fact that James Starks only got you 0.1 fantasy points was made up by the fact that Zachary Orr and Khalil Mack had beast games, both in double digits. So that is it. Thank you for your participation, Adeli. I really appreciate you beating the Malavian Falcon. And now on to the playoffs.
Playoffs. All right, man. I'll just go briefly about the seeded teams that made it. We got number 6, Pimpin' and Breezy. Number 5, Brady's Girly Men. Number 4, the Malavian Falcon. Number 3, LL for Uncle JJ's birthday. And the bye weeks for the first week are Amari 2600 with the number 2 seed and So Loyal Action Boss with the number 1 seed. So the 5 plays the 4, which would be Brady's Girly Man versus the Malavian Falcon. Who do you think is gonna pass on this one, man? Who's the next one? Who's gonna go to the next round here?
Ooh, okay. What the hell am I looking at? This isn't even showing me anything.
All right, well, you
All
got that, man. I'll give my pick on it. I have it.
Go ahead, give me your pick.
Yeah, man. It's
You know what? Before I even give you a pick, I just think that Brady's Girly Man, the team is ice cold. And I'm gonna look at the matchups in a moment. But all that being said, I think I'm gonna stick with Malavian Falcon this week.
Yeah, man, I actually agree. I'm going to stick with Malavian Falcon as well. I don't like Brady's Girly Men's players. They're players that started off hot just like his team and have cooled down. Michael Floyd, Willis Snead, Doug Martin, none of these guys, and Todd Gurley, none of these guys are actually producing that much. Tom Brady's going up against Baltimore. By the way, I think this is a game that New England can very easily lose against Baltimore. They're built perfectly for the New England Patriots.
Monday night.
Yeah, so that's going to be an interesting game. If the Raiders win tomorrow in Thursday Night Football, which will be a great game, and the Patriots lose, the Raiders are pretty much guaranteed a number 1 seed. But I think Brady's Girly Man is done, man. His season is done this Monday.
Yeah, man. All right. Expect big games from Le'Veon Bell. Thomas Rawls against a really weak Green Bay defense. They're weak overall. Jacksonville has nothing to offer Stephon Diggs. And Dante Moncrief against Houston. Yep, this is a week that I'm picking Malavian Falcon to win. And I think it's pretty easy, actually.
And the next matchup is number 6 Pimpin' Ain't Breezy versus number 3 LL for Uncool JJ's birthday. Who do you got on this one, man? Come on.
I am picking myself.
Of course you are.
This will happen over my birthday weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I'm counting on a little bit of birthday luck.
Mm-hmm.
All year, though, I've been kind of teasing that Victor's team was the most complete. I have no idea what kind of packs he made or what kind of sexual favors he exchanged to get some of those trades done. But that being said, I like my players. Most of them are the number one options at their positions for their teams. And I have a lot of very favorable matchups. Drew Brees against Tampa Bay, even though Tampa Bay is scorching hot, man. They were like a down-to-the-dumps team, and now they're a playoff team. Jeremy Hill should romp and stomp all over Cleveland. Matt Forte, same, romp and stomp all over San Francisco. Antonio Brown, oh man, if he catches 3 touchdowns, it's a wrap for you, my friend. Terrell Pryor against Cincinnati, he can score points. Dennis Pitt is kind of challenging. Tyler Boyd should exploit Cleveland. Boom, 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 boom. I like all of the matchups.
Oh man, I'm sorry, man. Nothing against you, but I gotta go with Uncool JJ's birthday on this one, which is clearly a punt to your birthday weekend. It's gonna suck for you, man. I'm sorry, but this guy's team is loaded, and I already talked about it earlier. LaShawn McCoy versus Pittsburgh, Jameis Winston, New Orleans, and Dak Prescott versus the Giants. He can go with either one. His receivers, my God, Julio Jones, Des Bryant. I don't know what else to ask for, man. This team has everything. They're not supposed to lose.
Julio Jones dealing with a little bit of turf too.
He's still gonna play.
Yeah, but he might not be great. He's played many games, and he's had games where he comes up with like 3 fantasy points. So I don't know. They could win, but maybe they just rely on the run. I don't know. I think the difference here is actually going to come down to, does Antonio Brown have a 3-touchdown game versus Julio Jones having one of those 3-point games that he has? And that kind of puts me over the edge. I don't know. I like myself this week.
All right, man. That pretty much clears it up. I go with LL for Uncool JJ's birthday. Remember, guys, Thursday Night Football tomorrow, Oakland Raiders versus Kansas City Chiefs rivalry game. That will be great for the first in the AFC West. I'm done for today, guys. Take care. Jay, you brought us into this video. You might as well take us out. Go ahead. Close it out, Jay.
What is there to say? Except for, let's sing happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday. Okay, everyone, thank you for accompanying us in this ride. It doesn't end here. This is only the end of the fantasy football regular season. As we discovered today, we have so much to talk about in the NBA. A season, by the way, that I thought was pretty much kind of boring till today. But yeah, good luck in week 1 of the fantasy football playoffs, and see you all next week.